I cannot wait for you all to hear from today's guest on belonging in classrooms. Oh my goodness, Tracy Byrd, one of the teachers that just knows naturally how to relate to students. It's been my honor to have Mr. Byrd as my children's teacher and their coach, and I've been able to watch him in action for at least a year and a half now, and I am always amazed at the amount of time he takes to check in with every athlete as they head out, to cheer for everyone, to give some ideals and some instructions. And he does it with such deep knowing of the students and such deep relationship, and that you can feel the mutual respect between him and students. And so I recently took a few minutes to ask several of Coach Byrd's students, like, how do you feel about Mr. Byrd, Tracy Byrd, or Byrd as the kids call him? And they said there was never a dull moment in Byrd's class, or he always brings energy even when you're really tired. I wish I could take his class again. And even students who come into his classroom and maybe don't perform at the level he knows they're capable. Listen and to learn from Coach Tracy Byrd, who, by the way, just a little side note, is a nominee for Minnesota's Teacher of the Year this year. We cannot wait to see how that works out. So join me as I welcome Coach Byrd to the podcast today on belonging in classrooms. Tracy Byrd, welcome to the podcast.
Well, thank you. It's good to be here.
Yeah. So, okay. I know from being able to watch you both on the field and in the classroom and in the hallways and after school that you prioritize relationships with all of your students. Like, I know how important relationship is. Mm-hmm. How do you find the capacity for that?
That's a very good question.
You're welcome.
I honestly don't know. It's just something that I do. It's what I know is to get the athlete, to get the student to do and give me their best.
Yeah.
I have to be there for them. And so as whatever that takes, whatever that looks like, is what I have to do in order to get that out of them.
Okay, but you notice so many details about students. Like, I watch, do you know that sometimes at a track meet, I'm watching you and you're working like, I saw this today, checking on this right now. You like your sunglasses this way, you like this way, right? And so how, is that a conscious thing that you do? Or is that just were you just always great at relationships?
It's a little bit of both. I've worked at it. Some of it comes easy, but it's just realizing that, certain students like certain things.
Yeah.
And so I kind of remember, handshake with one student looks like this, fist bump with this student, toe tap with this student. We say hi this way to this student. I mean, it's just, again, what do they need to be at their best? And then it's my job to remember what that is and have them at their best. Okay.
So you and I have had long conversations about high standards for every student. Mm-hmm. So I know that's a priority for you. Like you want them to do their best when they come in the room, no matter what else is going on for them. How did you come to that view as a teacher?
I think it started at home. I feel like it did. My mom she was very casual, but had very high, you're not just going to lay around and do nothing. Then as I got older, it was just kind of one of those, if you're going to do something, why not do it the best way you know how? Like, why would you not give your all? I guess, why would it be okay to be second best? And so that just became my mindset. And now, fortunately or unfortunately, that's what my students get. Like, every time you walk through the door, we are going to strive for excellence, period. We're going to struggle to get there, but we're definitely going to strive for the excellence.
I've seen students, talk to you and really name that they didn't, like, regret that they didn't work harder for you. And I think that speaks to the both, like, they feel a deep sense of belonging in your classroom, even if they don't always have the maturity to show that with their actions.
That's the good thing and the bad thing about the job and ninth grade. And it's like, it is that planting that bamboo. Like, I might not see it. I want to. Like, I really want to. It makes me feel good. It fills me to know, like, that worked. So now I can try it again. But there is some, maybe not this year. Maybe it's going to be next year. Maybe it's their junior year. Maybe it's their senior year. Maybe it's 2 years after. But it's going to click sometime. And, I'm just trying to shorten that gap of when it clicks.
So most students haven't had a teacher of color before they had you. I know my daughter did not have a teacher of color before she had you, and my son still hasn't, right? But, like, so how, and I also know that many students of color that I know name the different feeling that they have in your class. So how is your class different?
That's a very good question, because literally the three of us that teach ninth grade English do the same thing pretty much on the same day, pretty much at the same time during class. I feel like it's just me. Like, I am different. The path that got me here to this job made me look at things differently than a typical did well in high school, knew I wanted to be in education, went to education. Now they've been in education 15, 20, like that. I didn't have that path. So when you get me, you get a whole lot of something else.
Also true. Also true. What's one thing you wish you could change about your job or your influence? So, like, another way that I say this is, like, you had a magic wand,
okay,
$1 million, whatever. If there was, like, a reality you could change about public school education, what would it be?
I would. Well, I have $1 million, so I could do a lot of things.
Yeah. So let's play the game.
So the first thing I would do is I would somehow institute inside the school a culture of, it's a privilege to be here inside this school. So for the students, you don't just get to walk here and do nothing. Like, because it goes back to that whole excellence thing. If you woke yourself up and you made it all the way here, walk into the classroom and go knock that out. Like, it's not a right. Like, you don't get to just do it just because you're in ninth grade or 10th grade. You have to earn being here. And that's your sweat equity. That's writing the paper. That's being on time. That's being respectful to administrators. That's doing all of those things that are going to prepare you for being a good citizen. Yeah. So that's the first thing I would do. And the second one, I would just have more. I would like to have more teachers of color around. I remember telling I worked at a different district, and I was like, do you realize there are entire HBCUs that graduate teachers? And so there's like 300 of them coming out. If we grabbed 10%, 20%, and then brought them here, this is how we build it. And the district was kind of like, well, they don't want to come here. I was like, you could go there and go get them and bring them. I mean, like we have to think creatively if we want to change the problem, or correct it. And I don't know if that's really what we want to do.
I think there's a lot of lip service, right? I think there's a lot of dreams, and generally speaking, lots of us want lots of things, but the very minute we get a hint of change, we're like, oh, not that thing, right? And so I think that our district has a value of it. I think we have all of these initiatives and all of these things. At the end of the day, you're still the teacher of color that teaches English at your school. Right? It's still the reality. My kids were still in high school before they had that experience. As a matter of fact, I was on a call today with someone, and she was saying that her second grade teacher at Lyndale was her first and only ever teacher of color. And she remembered her by name and how she felt in that classroom. I went
through high school. I went college a couple of times, and then had my first educator of color. Like I had gone through. And so part of this is I want to make sure that other students don't go through Washburn where I graduated and say, I didn't have this, I didn't have that. No one told me this, no one told me that. So that's a lot of my motivation is you won't be able to say that because I'm going to tell you this, I'm going to show you this, I'm going to put this in front of you, I'm going to do the things that I don't remember if they were done for me, but I don't remember it. So clearly it wasn't memorable. So I want to make sure for you it is.
Even if I say it 15 times.
I have to say it 15 times and put it up on the board and then make sure it hits on your classroom page.
This is not on our notes. But do you want to tell about your story about how you're going to write the book someday?
Wow. And I don't even know what chapter we're on right now, but I've got chapter headings. I've got being in Minneapolis, being back in Minneapolis has definitely shown me a lot of things, and it's given me joy, it's given me heartache, it's given me headache. I mean, it's all the feels are there. I know.
Sometimes within the same class hour.
Oh my gosh, my last hour of the day, the first 3 weeks, I was like, I don't know if I can keep doing this. And then all of a sudden, I'm kind of like, this is their spirit. Like, this is who they are. And so instead of me trying to make them become like another class period that I have to allow them to be this class period. And now it's just kind of like, this is the best class period. Like, this is it. Like, I look forward. Come on, fifth hour. Give me what you got.
Yeah, I mean, but I do think that there is something deeply unique in the way you see students that I don't see. Yeah, I mean, we have to just name that. I often see that in our district. Once a child has a story about them, it's really hard for them to break free of that story.
It is.
It really follows them.
I tell the ninth graders on day one, I don't know who you are. So whatever middle school you went to, however you think about school, I don't know that. But I'm going to get to know you right now. You don't know me. So we're brand new. So we both get to be a new person right now. If it hasn't worked for you, you don't have to bring that same you into this classroom. Because I don't know you. Like, so you're not impressing me. You're not so try something new. If it hasn't worked, here's where we get out on that limb and we try it. And if it does work, we go with it. And if it doesn't work, we've got a bunch of days that we can throw that away and try it again. And so for the most part, it takes them a while to Mr. Byrd, I don't know if you're being serious or not. And it's like, try it. Like try it. And by now, third quarter, fourth quarter, that's when they're kind of like, and it's like, now you have 10th grade, you have 11th grade, you have 12th grade, you have the rest of your life because you've tried something new. Try it. You might like it. You might not, but you might.
So one of my dreams is that entire cities would see public school systems as our responsibility. Mm-hmm. It's long been one of my dreams because I believe that public schools are like our chance to create a democracy and to really do well by all of our citizens. I wish that every org and everything and every restaurant was like, not just that parents who had privilege and wealth would walk around and get some things or donate some things, but that our city would see our public schools as like, we aren't working until our public schools are working. What's something you wish the community could do to support you in your work?
Well, one thing they do.
Yeah.
I play a lot of golf. And so each golf course, this is brand new this year. I tried this past summer. Each golf course I go to, I ask them, do you want to donate and sponsor a ninth grade English class? All I need is a box of your pencils. Because during school, I have students come up, everyone take out a pencil. I don't have a pencil. Oh, got one here for you right now. Got
pencil.
And when they say, why is it such a little pencil? You could bring a pencil you could have your own pencil. Or you can have this pencil. I mean, the choice is yours. Or you could just say, thank you, here's a pencil. So literally, I go to all these golf courses and I'm just like, I just need it. Because, they get boxes upon boxes.
Yes.
And what I wish they knew is it's just the small things.
It is the small things.
I mean, just whatever can keep education flowing.
Totally.
Paper, pencils, notebooks, boxes of chalk. So then on days where we have 20 minutes or 30 minutes, they can just go crazy on the chalkboard and then markers to go on the grease board. I mean, just whatever it is to help out school. And some people think it has to be this large.
It totally, yes. Yes.
And
or
that's not it.
Schools are intimidating. I don't know. And but like you could just ask a teacher. I would love to have recipe cards that every teacher could put out.
Yes.
And the city would just fill them. Until we baked a perfect public school. Thank you. I finished my analogy. Okay, tell me a story about an impact that Minneapolis Public Schools has had on you. It doesn't have to be the biggest one, or the negative one, or the positive one.
Okay.
It can be whatever you want it to be.
I don't like riding the buses for athletics because multiple times the buses have left us. I mean, one of my first years coaching at Washburn, we are at Fridley and we bring 2 buses over and only 1 bus comes to pick us up. And this is after I come back from a pretty large, well-funded district. So things are working a certain way.
Yes, that's right.
And in my head, I'm just like, well, if you knew 2 buses brought us over, how come there's only 1 bus to bring us back? And this happened again and again to the point where now I coach the track team and I'm like, we're not going to take buses because the last thing you want is to see me when there's no bus that's supposed to pick me up. And I mean, and I just kind of go, what message does this send to our kids that, and it's, well, we have to learn how to pivot. We have to learn how to improvise. We have to learn. You're right. I get it. And we will. But what message does this send to our kids? That
Especially when we've just been at a track meet at a school where their practice field is 3 times the size and nicer than any one of our high schools here in the city, right? I mean, it's really tough sometimes to say, hey, like every single kid in this state is a future citizen of this state.
Right.
And so like they all need what they need. I feel that. I feel like our urban district is like a barge in a small river with a couple of engines out. We're chugging along.
Drifting.
We're not real mobile.
Right.
We're trying our best. Some people are working really hard.
and that's the thing. And so there is this aspect of being resilient and then, doing more with less. Like that is a thing. Like I get that. And sometimes it's kind of like, but sometimes we don't have to.
Sometimes teachers need to dream.
like why can't we sometimes do more with more? Mm-hmm. Like that.
Just once.
Just once.
Just once. Yeah, I feel that. Well, I want to thank you for who you are in our district and who you are as an educator. Rumor has it you have a Teacher of the Year nomination pending somewhere in the recesses. That
rumor has been substantiated.
Yeah, I'm very excited for you, and I'm so thankful for you taking the time at the end of your duty day to be here today on Belonging in Classrooms.
Thank you. Thank you very much.